Hello and welcome to another Reaconteur video, and in today's video I'll be going over 10 games I think are better than Deepwoken. Some of them are Roblox, all the Roblox games are going to be free, and some of them are non-Roblox games. And I also won't be covering anything super cliche to mention except for maybe one title on this list, so don't expect me to say Elden Ring because yeah, obviously it's better than Deepwoken. Make sure to subscribe, and let's get into it. First up, I want to cover some honorable mentions. So first up for our first of 3 honorable mentions is going to be Runeslayer. First of all, I don't think Runeslayer is better than Deepwoken. It's fun for what it is, but a lot of people are really hyping it all the way up, and I also really think it's because of recency bias. It's very good for what it is, but most people really just like it because it's a new game, meaning there's more content updates while the devs have ideas, and it's also new, so the game has like a lot of new content for people to explore because, you know, it's new. But yeah, overall, not a better game than Deepwoken, but since it's new, there's generally more stuff for people who are already experienced with Deepwoken to try out, to test and play, since this game has actual classes and different builds to progress. So this is going to be the first of 3 honorable mention spots. Next up for another honorable mention is going to be Rogue Lineage, which is actually made by the same devs who made Deepwoken. This game isn't better than Deepwoken. It's leagues more fun. Like, I could PvP in Rogue Lineage for 8 hours straight without getting bored. I loved Rogue Lineage combat, and I still do, even though I don't play it anymore because I can't stand the progression. Rogue Lineage's PvP having actual combos and being more combo based than Deepwoken just made it way more satisfying to play than Deepwoken, because hitting a Shadow Fan into lethality, or an Ethereal Strike dash into lethality, or any ONE combo will always feel way cooler and way more satisfying to actually land without macros than anything you can hit in Deepwoken. The game was sadly ruined by macros dominating the PvP space, so the new meta is to press one key and win instead of actually being good at the game and learning how to do things. And also, mages have always been the no skill anti-fun classes, right? So it's just a little bit lame that the game is kind of devolved from something that took skill into something that's either 1 button press or 2 if you're a mage. For our final honorable mention, and I know some of you are going to hate me for putting this here, but it's Type Soul. Wait, just hear me out. Just please hear me out, because I know some of you really hate this game. Type Soul is more fun than Deepwoken. I'll say it.
I did it because I liked it. Hell, I loved it. I'm sitting, I'm just itching. I'm itching to do it again.
Type Soul has just always been more fun to me. Alright? I don't like Deepwoken being permadeath. And it's not that I wipe in Deepwoken, that's a problem. It's just the fact that Deepwoken just doesn't feel like a game that should be permadeath with how easy it is. And Type Soul isn't permadeath, you know? Some people would appeal to that side of it. It really doesn't affect me that much, but I like the combat. It's more combo oriented. I love the satisfying way some moves feel to hit or combo, like Sero Grab. I love Sero Grab. Oh my god, landing a Sero Grab. Oh, it's so good. Deepwoken just isn't a satisfying game to play. There's no real combos. Even when you land mix-ups, venting is an escape, and 90% of the time, I hit a sick mix just for someone in deep to vent, and it ruins my day. Deepwoken just isn't that fun for me ever since Verse 2 came out with the new combat rework, because it's just a whole lot of stuff you have to deal with that is kind of just anti-fun. And I just find Type Soul fun. I like pulling 1v8s and being amazing and sick at the game. It might be biased because I'm actually good at Type Soul. I'm not really that good at Deepwoken anymore since I haven't taken it seriously since Verse 1. But when Type Soul was in its prime, I loved this game. And for those of you who didn't like the game, I'd like to hear why down below in the comments. But for those of you who played Rogue Lineage, you probably also liked, or at least would like, Type Soul, because the combo system is more similar to that than Deepwoken. Starting out with our number 10 spot being a Roblox game up first is going to be Hours. I'm sure lots of you know this game already, but Hours is basically the best roguelike on Roblox. Lots of Roblox players don't know what roguelike means. No, I don't mean Rogue Lineage-like, because for some reason, tons of Roblox players would slap roguelike as a title for games that were meant to emulate Rogue Lineage. No, instead of like Rogue, people thought it was like Rogue Lineage. It's like Rogue, roguelike. The first roguelike style game was Rogue, which is basically just any permadeath wipe on game, and you go through like boss and enemy arenas. Think Risk of Rain, Enter the Gungeon, The Binding of Isaac. Anyway, Hours is a roguelike with 15 characters or hosts, and then there's 32 different tempos, which a tempo is basically just a time-altering ability of some sort. You can skip time, you can delete time. Think of all the JoJo stands. Now multiply that by 3. And then you can mix these tempos, use different characters, meaning there's a possibility of at least 15 to the 30-second power of combinations that you can use. Of course, way more, since you can, you know, take more than one tempo per run, and then there's also the ones that you can unlock by buying the Game Pass or the Hand of Hours. And then you can also overclock them, which changes some of their properties, which is also really cool. Realistically, beating the game with every combination possible would take way too long for me to get this video out on a Monday. Overall, this game is really good though. I don't want to spoil too much. I haven't played it in a couple years at this point, but I felt like I had to replay it and put it on this this list because it's just so good. Like, you can really tell the creator cared about this game when putting it together. Just don't use the tier tempo. It's not good, and it's also just not fun. So if you hate yourself, maybe try that. Next up at our 9th spot is a bit of a weird one, I know, but Don't Starve Together. This game is kind of just something I'm throwing in here because it is one of my favorite multiplayer survival games of all time. I genuinely would rather play this over Terraria, and that game's amazing. But also, it won't be in this list because it's Terraria, and people know it's good. Don't Starve Together is a lot less popular, but it is one of my favorite games of all time. Maybe if you're Chinese, you know about it because it's really popular over there because it's one of their few sanctioned video games. Anyway, Don't Starve Together is quite rich in lore, having I think 21 bosses, 6 of which are optional. Just don't fight Crab King. And then there's a ton of lore from this game, as well as its prequel Don't Starve, which is a non-multiplayer, like story-focused prequel, which kind of establishes the universe, but also has exclusive bosses and DLC which aren't in Don't Starve Together. Now, sorry, instead of rambling about the lore, let me actually talk about the game. The game puts you in a universe known as the Constant, where people are taken from the real world and brought into it by a shadow woman named Charlie. Every character's name starts with a W, I like Weber, and you're tasked with surviving and upgrading your technological abilities, eventually dipping into magic harnessed from like gems and boss drops and shadow creatures. And then you eventually complete the game's current final boss, the Moon Celestial Champion, after going through like a whole big checklist of things that you're supposed to kill in order and get. This game really is amazing, and the best part is it's not even done yet. The game is still currently in development and gets a few major updates like as time goes on per year, with the last one being exactly 2 months ago from the day of this video going up. And my favorite part of the game, playing dress up. There are unique and rare cosmetics you can get by just playing the game, including a daily reward, and I love them. This game's really fun. I didn't go too much into the gameplay because I think it's something you should probably learn on your own if it looks interesting to you, but I do love this game. At number 8 is another non-Roblox game, but it is parry-based for you Deepwoken players. The game being For Honor. This is maybe my favorite fighting game ever made. I love everything about the combat. As a Rep 40 Lawbringer main, this game is fun until you get infinite mixed by a Berserker player and want to cleave your head off. Regardless, this game has the best parry-based PvP combat in any game I have ever seen, ever. I love the stance system, I love mix-ups and combos in this game, I love the movement, I love the character variety and special mechanics, I love everything. Nothing feels better than hitting a deflect on Shinobi and kicking someone off the map and spamming an emo on the ledge. I love being toxic to people who use Highlander or Shigoki, and I love jumping people in 2v2s. No, actually I take my 1v1s, it's more fun that way. But this game really does have a way of making you feel like the character you're playing with how in-depth, Deepwoken depths, with how in-depth the combat is. It really is just amazing, and if you've never played For Honor, I would highly recommend it. I think this game has nowhere near the player count it deserves. Only downside, it's owned by Ubisoft, so, you know, they don't really know how to balance properly, so every half season there's a new meta character. But what I like about this game is that usually metas don't matter that much because this game is like 95% skill and 5% picks. Unless you're going against a Shigoki playing an assassin character, he's gonna spam hyper armor against everything you try to do. Regardless, this is my favorite fighting game ever, and I would really recommend it for those of you who think it looks interesting and you like parry-based combat. Number 7 is going to be another ROBLOX game, which some of you may know or may not know. Fantastic Frontier. This game is old, like older than Rogue Lineage old. This game came out in 2016 and it is still aesthetically one of the nicest looking Roblox games I've ever seen. The UI is a little bit dated, being kind of just like tweened moving bars, but I just love this game. I used to play it so much on my old Roblox account that I don't use anymore, and being able to watch this tutorial again reminded me of why I like this game so much. It is just full of charm and care, and you can really tell when you play it. Sadly, the game only has around 50 to 100 players nowadays, but it really was a great experience in its peak. I absolutely love this game, and if it got another big update, I'd probably be on it immediately. Next for number 6, and I know I said I wouldn't do anything obvious or too popular or big, but I did say there'd be one title on this list. It's gonna be Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. It just has to be here. Which, I'm gonna say the line, guys. It's been a while, but did you guys know I was at one point the number 67 glitchless Sekiro speedrunner in North America? Yeah, look, while For Honor was the best PvP-based parry combat experience, Sekiro is easily the best PvE-based combat experience involving parrying. This game was literally a side project from FromSoft while they were working on Elden Ring, and it not only won Game of the Year 2019, but it's better than Elden Ring. This is the best Soulsborne title, and it's not even close in my opinion. If I had to rank them all, I'd say Sekiro, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring, Bloodborne with DLC, Dark Souls 1, Bloodborne without DLC, and then Demon's Souls. Not sure why there's Dark Souls 1 and 3. I mean, there's only 2 games, right? Kind of weird they'd skip over it like that, right guys? But yeah, Sekiro is literally one of my favorite games ever made, and it's so sad that it might never get a sequel. sequel because they literally made it as a side project to distract people while Elden Ring was delayed, which is also why Sekiro is quite a short game in comparison to other Soulsborne titles, along with Sekiro being the game with the most reused assets out of any Souls game, like the Demon of Hatred model, and the entirety of Ashina being reused for 3 or 4 different parts within the game. It's kinda crazy, but the gameplay kinda just stands out enough to make it good, despite the fact that the world is kinda lifeless and boring when you really look into it. This game is still like a combat masterpiece though. At number 5, we have another non-Roblox game, and also kind of breaking the popularity or notoriety rule, but this is a game that I love, and it is my favorite roguelike title. Can you guess what it is? The Binding of Isaac Repentance. Sorry, Risk of Rain fans, I love that game too, but The Binding of Isaac is easily my favorite roguelike. It's just weirdly unique in its progression. Like, while every roguelike has item unlocks that you add to your future runs, The Binding of Isaac is the only one that has 2 things different from all these other roguelikes. First of all, outright bad items. Take Risk of Rain for example. Most of the items aren't bad. Anything in the base rarities is a direct upgrade, with the lunar blue items being trade-offs, which are mostly positive. There's nothing in Risk of Rain you'd usually outright never have or take, except Corpse Bloom. That's actually probably the only bad item in the game. The Binding of Isaac has an abundance of straight up trash items that you would never want in any scenario, but they can work situationally. Off the top of my head, Dunce Cap, Guillotine, Isaac's Heart, Missing No, TM Trainer, Explosivo, and Curse of the Tower. Now this might sound like it sucks, and it does, but The Binding of Isaac is a game that you're supposed to rig, if this makes sense, right? The biggest part of The Binding of Isaac, once you've unlocked every item, is having the in-game knowledge to use the items that you get at your disposal to get the best items in the game. No other roguelike is like this, and I love it. In Risk of Rain, you either have item choosing on, or it's complete luck. Regardless, it takes no skill to improve your build. In The Binding of Isaac, I can find a reverse fool card, use it in a secret room, find a way to re-roll those items, and now I have Glitched Crown or Death Certificate, and I can get any item in the game. The Binding of Isaac does have mechanical skill, like avoiding boss attacks in a bullet hell styled format, but most of the skill in Isaac is knowing how to make the run better with the tools at your disposal to rig your runs, and that's really fun and rewarding to do properly. And getting the best items is super satisfying, especially you knowing that you worked for that. But curses are a bad thing, and sometimes I just want to become back my money. In the 4th place spot, we have a Roblox game that I absolutely love, In Plain Sight, or In Plain Sight 2, because that's the one people play now, but I love this game so much back when I used to play it. Basically, you're a thief with various unlockable abilities like smoke bombs and other thievery abilities, or you're a security guard with various unlockable cameras and abilities. And the game is a map full of NPCs matching the 4 or whatever how many thief player skins, while the guard has to look around and find out who's a real player and who's not. This game also sounds kind of like Spy Party, to you who know what that is, but In Plain Sight came out 2 years before Spy Party. I really loved this game when I used to play the original. I could literally sit in public lobbies for like 4 hours straight, and both roles are really fun. Pretending to be an NPC while discreetly stealing things and trying to trick the camera guy into shooting NPCs so he loses is amazing, and then being the camera guy having to fish out players in the sea of walking around NPCs who are trying to steal things and get money is really fun. And it's definitely real fun if you can get a group of friends to play it with you. I love this game. In our 3rd spot, we have this Roblox game called The Future. I love this stupid little game. It's a party fighting game similar to things like Gang Beasts or Human Fall Flat, which I love those games. They're not going on this list, but I do love them. And you can literally just like climb up walls and hide, drop on people, pick them up and throw them. And then there's just like multiple randomly selected maps and modes like Gladiator, which is a gladiator battle with weapons all over the place, or Moving Day, where you have to get as much furniture as you can out of a house and into the moving truck. This game is pretty old, having come out in 2017, but I really love silly party games, and this fits that niche perfectly. I love this game. At our number 2 spot, we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Literally my favorite racing game ever, and if you disagree, skill issue. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is unironically the most technically advanced racing game out right now. From learning advanced shroomless shortcuts like the Dragon Driftway skip, to stuff like the Mushroom Gorge gap jump, this game is the most technical racing game ever, and learning maps is just so much fun because once you learn a shortcut and have it down and you learn map lines, it becomes extremely satisfying to play. I love this game, and I still actively play in worldwide servers, so maybe you guys can see me in there, but I really love Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And finally, at number 1 is another Roblox game that I have liked for quite a long time, simply known as Parkour, or Parkour Legacy because it's kind of in a weird spot right now. I've been playing this game since it originally came out back in 2016 during its alpha, and they actually robbed me of my alpha tester tag. I don't know why I don't have it on either of my accounts, but whatever. It's literally just a parkour game. You run around the city, you do cool stuff. Now, I will say, I do love this game, and I do occasionally play it when I'm doing nothing, kind of like how people CSGO surf when they're doing nothing. And the game has had a lot of updates I didn't like. Like, I remember when they rehauled fall damage, so you couldn't just, like, fall from 20,000 feet up and then shift at the right time and absorb it. And I know, yeah, it makes sense for balancing, but then they started getting crazy with it, adding stuff like adrenaline vials, grappling hooks, paragliders, wingsuits, hook shots, thrust capacitors, Reacounteurs. They put me in the game. What is a Reacounteur? I don't even know what that is. I just know it's in the game now. Kirito, Arrow Punch, Blink Boot. There's so much stuff in this game that doesn't even make sense anymore. It's kind of like they jumped the shark. Like, I liked this game initially when the craziest thing that they had was the Power Grip Gauntlet, and it was literally just a thing that let you wall run for a longer amount of time, versus now where the game is just a little bit pay to win at certain levels because you can have so many just weird tech and abilities in this game. And I do still like the game, which it's good, and I'm putting it at number 1 because I still play it, but I just really wish they kind of stuck to being a simple parkour game about just running around the city, discovering little secrets and Easter eggs, doing time trials, learning new tricks, instead of like, yeah, let's add Reacounteur, Scanner, Kirito, and Arrow Punch. What is an arrow punch, bro? Punch your way through the air. You literally punch, and it's like it's an air dash. This game was originally like a realistic, or well, semi-realistic parkour game inspired by Mirror's Edge, and then it kind of became its own thing over time that was just a bit messy. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just they kind of jumped the shark. That's really it. But I really do love this game, and I'd highly recommend it for people who like parkour games, because there's really no other good parkour games in general. Like, on Roblox, there's no parkour games other than this. If you want to play a parkour game, you have like, what, Dying Light and Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge is old, Dying Light is old, Dying Light 2 is just worse Dying Light. You know, it's just hard to compete with. Anyway, I love you all. Shoutouts to Goopka, Drizzy Drake Fan, Brick, Green, Pickle, High Card, and Bacon. Hope you all have an amazing day, and goodbye.